On Larry King Now, music virtuoso Linda Perry.
My process of songwriting comes from a very real place, a place that when you watch American Idol, God bless it, it's probably this awesome experience that these people are having, but it's not a real one. Those kids that are on that show would never be found out by a label. I believe what makes a great producer is someone who will listen, who's not coming in with ego. You can have confidence, but not ego. Pandora played my song Beautiful by Christina Aguilera, sang it somewhere around 12 million times, and I got $300. So stuff like that pisses the shit out of me.
Plus,
Ellen, of course, coming out, made a big, presentation to like, look, these are normal people. Look at me, I'm kind of an androgynous, I'm not a lipstick lesbian, I'm not masculine, but I ride in the middle,
all next on Larry King Now. Welcome to Larry King Now. Our special guest is Linda Perry, the award-winning singer, songwriter, producer, and label chief. She has worked with some of the biggest talents in music: Christina Aguilera, Pink, Alicia Keys, Gwen Stefani, Courtney Love, and Celine Dion, to name just a few. Many of them have been our guests here. Before Linda took to making hits for other artists, she was the lead singer of 4 Non-Blondes, best remembered today for their astronomical success with the single What's Up. Linda stars in and is executive producer of Make or Break, the Linda Perry Project, which premieres Wednesday, July 16th at 10 o'clock Eastern on VH1. What is Make or Break?
For me, music right now is missing a lot of heart. It's missing that soul, it's missing that spontaneous emotion that, comes from like the perfectionism, the thing that makes music.
Caring about a lyric.
The caring. So to me, it's like either we can make this, let's make it, or I'm going to break you to where you're not going to, I'm going to break you.
So what do I see visually?
Well, you're going to see me take these artists on kind of an emotional journey. It's very therapeutic. I'm very aggressive. I'm very honest. I'm in your face. But I try to get you to break out emotionally and get past all the crap that goes on, all the stereotypes that we're looking for, fame, perfume, whatever. Focus on music. And then once you have this breakthrough, you'll see it in the show that once this person has this emotional thing that they bury, there's this breakthrough in their voice, in the song, in their personality, and it goes to this whole other level.
Where do you get the talent from?
Instead of doing a casting, I just called friends, and I went through my musician friends from New York to Chicago, Los Angeles, everywhere I could think of.
You've said that people think they know about the music business, but they don't know shit. You call it an antidote to American Idol?
It's not, listen, I'm not looking for an antidote for anything. I'm just trying to share with people my process. My process of songwriting comes from, it comes from a very real place, a place that when you watch American Idol, God bless it, it's probably this awesome experience that these people are having, but it's not a real one. Those kids that are on that show would never be found out by a label. A label would never go, I want that kid, they're not special enough. They're playing, they're singing cover songs. They're not real musicians. They're more being put out on the show because this person seems a little fucked up, so they're going to be good for TV. That person, we know we're going to dump them in the second, episode. And, it's all planted out to where it has, they already know who their winner is. Larry, what you're going to see is a real thing. When VH1 wanted to do this with me, and I decided that I wanted to step out of the studio and show myself and share my studio and, again, share. This is just my opinion.
Right.
My opinion doesn't mean jack shit in the real world. This is just my opinion, my process, but I think it's a damn good one, and I think people will be able to see a whole new way of where music comes from, because right now all we're seeing is these magic curtains show up or the spinning chair shows up, and it's like, you know, is it really about music, or is it about selling Coca-Cola? Is it about the judges and their $1 million paychecks? What is these shows actually about? Because what it's not about is about music, and that's it.
Pink requested you, right, to work on her second album?
Yeah, the Misunderstood album.
Was there a feud between the two of you?
Beef.
Is there any kind of...
Oh, no, right, well, right now, you know, I got a little cocky, you know.
You did?
Like, yeah, I did. I got a little cocky with things because, you know, I went from my 4 Non Blondes, and you know, we had one hit, we were huge, sold 7 million records off a song, awesome, but I needed to do something else. It wasn't my thing. So I went off and I ventured and made a couple of albums to explore. And then I decided, you know, I can write for other people. And then I meet this girl that is calling me on my phone, and we make this great album. She sells 12 million records. Yeah, I got cocky. I got a little ahead of myself. And
did what?
Well, I think that I started feeling like maybe I got controlling with Alicia, and maybe felt that she should be doing things that, you know, like she came out with some albums and after the Misunderstood record, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you should still follow. I got controlling.
So are you broken up now?
And then we had a feud, and then she, you know, didn't want me working with other people because she wanted to claim me, and it's just like, you can't do that with somebody. But now I love her. I've always loved her. I've always had massive respect for her. I wait for the day she calls me again and says, will you work on a record with me? I'm waiting for that.
Is your reputation for being tough fair?
Totally. Totally.
You are tough.
I am tough.
Is your bluntness tough on some artists?
Of course it is. I think it's tough on anybody. I do try to do the best that I can, but honesty is the best gift I was ever shown. And I will always carry that. And unfortunately, honesty does hurt people, because it hurts, because the truth is, when anybody comes to me and says something honest and I'm affected by it and I like get angry, it's because they're telling the truth. They're telling the truth, and I don't want to accept that. So anytime anybody gets upset by honesty, it's because it's honest and it's truthful.
Up next, Linda will sound off on the state of the music industry and her contemporaries. Stay with us. Make or Break will debut. The Linda Perry Project premieres Wednesday, July 16th at 10 p.m. You great success as a lead singer for a group that record went through the roof. Why the switch to producing?
Well, for me, it was a wonderful experience, but it was a limited one for me. Like, I didn't see the, you know, like when you're in a band, you have 3 other people, you have to vote. And I was just getting to know who I was as an artist. And then I didn't know when I signed up, that meant I was signing up to be this for the rest of my life. And that's just not who I am. So we were working on the second record, and it was going to be a great one. I wrote some really great songs, but it wasn't me. It wasn't, I was feeling like I was writing for the band and to do this thing again. And it's not my thing.
Were the rest of the band disappointed?
Of course. Of course they were. The label, the management, everybody was. They thought I was crazy for leaving the band at such a, you know, successful time, but I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to make those kind of leaps.
All right, so who are you? Are you a singer, a songwriter, a producer? Who is Linda Perry?
I'm an artist. I feel like producer probably is the best thing for me, because I produce just, you know, I'll do events. I'm producing events. I'll see people on the street. I try to produce them. Like, I try to be of service the best way possible. Yeah, I'm controlling.
what Paul McCartney told me, the whole key to any successful record is the producer.
Yeah.
If that's true, what makes a good producer?
I believe what makes a great producer is someone who will listen, who's not coming in with ego. You can have confidence, but not ego.
No agenda?
Yeah, you know, to make the greatest album for this person, where you're able to step aside when you're not needed and to apply an awesome creative hand when you are. And to be honest, to keep people in their character, like when you see them swaying off of like the character they need to be for this particular song, you're like a director. You bring them back in. Like, wait a minute, your character for this is this, you know?
Is there any common thread that runs through all hit songs?
Good question. I honestly, I don't know. I believe it's...
Do you know it when you hear it?
I think a hit is just something, like I think I've written a lot of hits that didn't hit for other people. You know, to me, what really is a hit is if we're looking at the success of a nation, from radio, from people, or can we find that success within ourselves when you write a song?
So to yourself, you've had a lot of hits.
Oh my God, every song to me is a hit for me because it's an emotional hit, but the thread, Jesus, I don't know, that's a tough one.
What about some of your contemporaries, Pharrell, Dr. Luke, Max Martin? How do you hold them?
I believe that we all have our own process, and they each have found what works for them. And I think, you know, anybody who can have a career making music, I hold them in the highest regard.
Now, the music industry has been turned on its head in recent years. The whole thing has changed. The rise of streaming services like Spotify, does it bother you? Or where is it going?
Well, we can have a situation like Pandora, where Pandora played my song Beautiful by Christina Aguilera sang it. They played it, I believe, I could be overshooting this, but somewhere around 12 million times, and I got $300. So stuff like that pisses the shit out of me, because that's...
Damn right.
That's my thing, man. You know, I deserve to be taken care of for that.
How does it change, though?
Well, that's the screwed up part. You know, greed got us to this point. You know, a long time ago, the labels had an opportunity to protect these situations, but you know what? They didn't want to spend the money to do it. So now everybody's losing based on their, you know, selfish greed. But you know, it all turned back around. It's
goes around, comes around.
It all comes back. I don't get afraid.
What changed from an album market to a singles market?
Well, they stopped making, they stopped signing good artists, you know, that were credible, that could sustain a career. They started just going for the microwave popcorn.
So one song out of the album, that's...
You know, and again, getting very greedy with, you know, let's focus on this and let's get the best of this and this and this and that. And then forgot that what actually, like, your pants are going to stay up without your suspenders, right? You need your shirt and your tie to create your whole look. Right. Well, what happened is they stopped realizing that an album helps actually sell. I mean, the album tracks help sell and collaborate with the single. Because if you just have a single on your own, nowadays we can scroll, ding, 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 bad, 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 bad. This song's okay. Okay, I'll just buy this one and this one. Now, when you have a collaboration of music, they'll buy the whole album. Adele, she made a great album. That album didn't have a problem, did it? But for some reason, the labels run around saying there's a problem, people aren't buying records. No, they're not buying your records because you're making shitty ones. Now put out some really good records and people will buy them. That's it. And sign some bands that will have a career 10 years from now.
Well, in the next segment, we'll try to draw Linda out. And we'll discuss being out as a musician. Does it affect record sales? We'll talk about that and Linda's recent marriage to Sarah Gilbert after the break.
Sorry, Larry, I swear a lot.
I like that. Our guest, Linda Perry, Make or Break. The Linda Perry Project premieres Wednesday, July 16th at 10 Eastern on VH1. You married someone I know pretty good, Sarah Gilbert, because I've been on the talk a few times, and she's in. How did that count? You two meet? How did that happen?
Sarah and I met through my yoga instructor. She is my yoga instructor and Sarah's best friend. And I just found her fascinating. Her brain is extremely interesting to me because she's so smart and but has a lot of common sense and such a good-hearted person. And so we just had this connection. And then a year later, we started seeing each other. And she by far is the best decision I've ever hands down made, because she grounds me. I feel better with her. Like I feel smarter with her. I feel more confident. She's my family. Like I just feel like family with her. And I feel lucky. Like I feel like she's brought luck into my life.
Are you shocked at how quickly public opinion has changed on the subject of gays?
I'm shocked that it didn't come sooner. I think that it's awesome now, like all of a sudden, like...
You don't know what made gay in.
No.
I don't either.
Really.
It just happened.
It's fascinating. It did just show up. But, Ellen, of course, coming out, made a big, presentation to, like, look, these are normal people. But I do believe the stereotype, like I'm gay, I don't look like a softball player, or a PE coach, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not like some big bull dyke, but they're out there. But, look at me, I'm kind of an androgynous, I'm not a lipstick lesbian, I'm not masculine, but I ride in the middle,
Does it affect the music business? Would it help an artist to say, I'm gay?
I don't think it helps or not helps people. I believe that, right now we're putting now it might go the opposite direction now. Now it might be like too much emphasis on like, do you think gay is going to help you be blah, 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 blah? And it's like, how about we just be? How about I like chicks, you like chicks, he likes dick, whatever, she likes dick, and can it just be that? How about if we just be and know that we're there?
Aren't we on the way toward that?
Totally.
It would appear that way.
And that's basically where we're going to end up.
Society changes.
We're just going to end up on, it just doesn't matter. But it's great that we're here right now, that it can actually possibly
Were you always
help.
out?
Yes, I've always been out. I have a funny story, because this will kind of sum it all up. I did David Letterman, Four Non Blondes, and so we go on the show, and I have on my guitar, it says Dyke, and it says Choice. This was probably 93, maybe, 92, 93. And so we're doing our rehearsal, and then this woman comes out, and she's like, do you mind, listen, there's this great vintage store, and a lot of people love, and we'll buy you whatever guitar you want. And we're thinking that maybe the statement on your guitar is a little much. And I'm like, well, which one, Dyke or Choice? And she's like, the first one. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to change my guitar. And if my guitar can't play, then I can't play, because I didn't do this for a statement. This is just who I am. And then she's like, okay, I'll be right back. And then she comes back. She's like, okay, everything's fine. And then I'm thinking, oh, they're going to pan out like a million miles away from me, and I'm not even going to be on the show. My voice is. Well, sure enough, the show starts right on my guitar. Right. It goes right on. I mean, close up of the guitar, right over Choice, right over Dyke, right up to my face, and there's the show. It's they
and
just
did David discuss it?
No, they just wanted, no, we just played.
Oh, you played.
But they just, they were used to, pushing for what they want. And when I said no, it wasn't a big deal. And that basically sums up life. We push people to get what we want, and when someone pushes back and says no, then everything's fine.
So over your career, you must have known a lot of closeted musicians.
Totally.
You think they all could come out now?
I encourage people to be who they are, because to me, how can you walk and how can you be an artist or an actor or a painter or whatever, or a human being, if you're hiding all the time? How can you have a judgment to other people when you yourself are judging? In my show, I tell these kids, the only judges that are going to show up here are the ones you brought with you. There is no judge in my show, except the ones that are inside ourselves.
Up next, what song did Linda think would be a commercial hit that wasn't? We'll find out in our final segment, and a game of If You Only Knew Too. We'll be right back. Before we get into some social media questions, you've toured with The Who, Aerosmith, Prince, Neil Young, Pearl Jam. Who's the wildest?
The wildest. I think the funniest little guy was Prince for me.
I like him.
Because he's quirky, that guy.
He's himself.
Yeah, he's very himself. Neil Young, I wanted to pick up a car every time I saw him. He just gave me power. Aerosmith, Steven and Joe. Steven is the wildest. Yeah, Steven, there you go. He's the wildest.
Was there a song you wrote or produced that you thought, this can't miss, and it missed?
There was a song for Four Non Blondes that I wrote called Spaceman that I thought was a huge hit. It was so pretty and so moving. And What's Up was so big, it didn't leave any room for anybody else to show up to the party.
We have some social media questions. David Prush, 91, tweets, what are your songwriting habits or quirks?
My habits are that I'm getting too much in the habit of, like, when I sit at a piano or I pick up a guitar, I don't know what happens, but it just becomes like it all shows up at the same time. The song, the chords, the melody, the song, the lyrics, I just ad lib. And I get so in the habit of being in that mode that when someone else is around, I can completely forget all about them. And I forget to engage with the artist, because I just go into my own little world. It becomes a habit.
And Kieran Hug via Twitter wants to know if you'll ever work with Pink again.
I do think I'm going to work with her. I'm going to say that. I hope, like I said, one day she will call me, but I think it's going to happen.
Arnold Callahan, 22, tweets, what's the deal with your tear tattoo?
My best friend and I of 20 years always lived next to each other, and he was moving to New York, and I was moving to Los Angeles. And I was
What city were you in?
I was in San Francisco, sorry. So we were both in San Francisco. He had tattooed a tear because I was on tour for like a year and a half, and that was for me. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh my God. So then when we were moving, he was moving to New York, I'm moving to LA. I said, tattoo a tear on my face because I can't believe I'm not going to be able to see you every single morning. So he tattoos the tear by hand. That night we cry, we drink wine, I leave, he leaves, and literally 3 weeks to a month later he shows up knocking on my door, in Sherman Oaks, and it's just like, I didn't like New York, and I'm like, wait a minute, I got this prison tattoo, so it was all funny, but it's one of my favorite tattoos.
Doug Dig Muzak via Twitter, do you wish you had more success with your performing career as opposed to songwriting and producing?
Oh no, I'm on the right train. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
We finished the show with a little game called If You Only Knew. Just some physical. Who's the first person you ever kissed?
This George.
George, how old were you?
I was probably 15.
What city?
San Diego.
15?
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Did you know then things weren't right with boy-girl?
Yeah.
George didn't work, huh?
No.
You ever find out what happened to George?
No, I actually like George too.
Do you have a guilty pleasure?
I do. I love popcorn, but it's not really a guilty pleasure, but I just eat it all the time.
What are you afraid of?
I'm afraid of people not getting on the same boat with the way I think.
Which artist's success confounds you?
Larry, that's a long list. I can't even go into that.
Top 5 favorite songwriters?
Carole King, Burt Bacharach.
You see her show in New York yet?
I have not seen
It's
it.
beautiful. It's called Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, Carole King, Burt
Bacharach. I love this girl, Bat for Lashes, Sia, and, who's another person I don't know? John Lennon.
Not bad. What's on your bucket list?
I don't have one.
If you weren't a musician, what would you be?
I'd be great at anything I did.
You're stranded on a desert island. What 3 things do you have with you? You'd probably say, I don't need anything.
No, I'd say...
Sarah.
I would say Sarah. I'd say, well, I can't take Sarah without the whole family. So can I say family?
The family, that's one.
Guitar and a good attitude.
What are you most proud of?
Right now, I live on the moment. Right now, this moment is my most proudest moment.
Best piece of advice you ever got?
If it's not a yes, it's a no.
Tell me something people don't know about you.
I'm extremely humble. I'm extremely caring, and I have so much love to offer. And honestly, the only thing I want to do on this planet is to be of service. That's why I'm here.
Linda, you're a delight. Thank you
you
very much. Linda Perry. And make sure you watch Make or Break the Linda Perry Project. It premieres July 16th, 10 p.m. on VH1. And remember, you can find me on Twitter at Kings Things. See you next time.